Hi students, Teacher Laura here. We are going to preview our textbook, which is Reading Explorer 3. This is the textbook that we're going to use this summer for 6 weeks. You will not get your textbook this week. They are on order. You will have some photocopies that Sharon has made for you. They're beautiful. And you'll be able to read all of the pages on Blackboard as well. But when you get your book, this is what we're going to do. So open up your book and we're going to go to Contents. So Contents is where you will find everything that is in the book. And as you can see, there are 12 units. Now, obviously, we're not going to do 12 units in 6 weeks. You're welcome to read as many of these as you wish, but in class, we are going to study Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. So we'll spend 2 weeks on each unit, so 2, 4, 6 weeks. So first one is Sports and Fitness. Second one, Skin Deep. It's about beauty. And Unit 3 is Animals in Danger. So if you turn over the page, you will find the scope and sequence. Now, scope and sequence is the teacher talk for what skills are contained in this book. So if you work your way through this book, do all of the activities, what are you going to learn? So this is a table. And you can see the rows are different colors to help you read and follow along. So each unit you read horizontally across the page like this. So Unit 1, our theme, our topic is sports and fitness. There are 2 readings, a video, reading skills, vocabulary building, and critical thinking. So these are the academic skills. This is the important part. This is what you should be able to do by the time you're done working through these units. So for Unit 1, you're going to learn how to analyze infographics and how to scan for specific information. So these are activities, things that you do, good readers do while they're reading to help you to understand and retain and organize information in your head. The vocabulary building is working with prefixes and suffixes. That's parts that come before and at the end of words like universe, and ology like sociology, psychology. And then at the end, critical thinking. In this book, there's a big focus on critical thinking. That means higher level thinking skills that you need to be successful in life, in the workplace, and in academics. So you're going to learn how to evaluate evidence and evaluate reasons. So the next unit, Skin Deep, you're going to analyze a writer's claim. That's the activity. You're going to learn how to summarize the main idea of paragraphs. You're going to look at roots, the word root form, and collocations with permanent. So that means what words go together with permanent. The critical thinking, you're going to learn to evaluate claims and apply ideas. And then the third unit, Animals in Danger, you're going to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. You're very good at this already, but we can always get better. And annotate a reading passage. So this is how do we use markers and pencils to mark up, circling and underline and writing questions and notes to keep us engaged as readers and to help us to understand more and to monitor our own reading and understanding in progress. So this is a high-level skill that the best writers and readers in the world practice. So we're going to learn how to do that. More collocations, nouns and verbs, and then our important critical thinking skill is evaluating problems and evaluating synthesizing. And if we don't know any of these words, that's quite okay. We're going to learn. That's part of the process. And you will know what all of these things mean by the end of the 6 weeks. Okay, let's take a quick look at one of the units. It's really important you understand how it's laid out so you can keep track of your progress as you go. So each unit, this is Unit 1, has a title, a theme, sports and fitness. Starts with a nice big picture to start discussion, get you thinking, captions, warm-up discussion questions. We'll do these on Zoom. And then you have your first reading. So reading 1A. There's always a before you read activity, because before we read, we want to preview, predict, to get our brains ready to receive new information, to process it, and to store it. So good readers don't just open a book, they stop, they think, they make predictions, they preview the text before they start. So again, we have a nice big graphic, we have a caption, And you can see in the text we have paragraphs that are labeled with letters to help us discuss in paragraph A, in paragraph B, in paragraph D. That will help us as a class to work together and to talk about the text. We have vocabulary words in bold and red, and then we have footnotes at the bottom. So this reading is 2 pages long. We have a subheading, more footnotes, another picture, another caption. We've got to make sure we use all of these text features. That's what they're called, text features. Extra things the author does with the layout, with the organization to give us extra information and support our reading. So we also have to practice reading infographics. That's a big skill, especially for those of you who want to do the GED and the work keys, is reading infographics. These are quite complex. Here we have text, we have a map, and we have a different kind of graphic. And then we have a key down here, or a legend. So we have to use all of these things together to understand this infographic. And then we have to integrate the reading that you just did with the infographic itself. Okay, after every reading, there are comprehension questions. So it says reading comprehension. That means understanding the reading. And they will tell you what skill you are practicing as you complete the questions. So gist is main idea. Details. Inference means it's not actually stated in the text. You have to be a detective, put the pieces together and figure out what the meaning is. Reference and main idea. Then you have a reading skill for each reading. So we're going to go back into the text and practice the skill. Now this one is analyzing infographics, not surprisingly. So we have a lot of activities and questions to help us work through and practice this. So after each reading, you'll have the reading comprehension, a whole page of reading skill, and then a critical thinking question. And we're going to do those on Zoom as a discussion or for our writing practice. We flip over the page. We always have vocabulary practice, a whole page in this book after every reading. Because at the higher levels, we want to build our academic vocabulary. So that's words that we would use in many different situations and contexts and subjects. So that's one reading. Next, we do the same thing with reading B. Before you read practice, we always have activities before we read to train ourselves. Before we read, we want to do certain things to make sure that our brains are ready for reading, to accept the new information, and to be active while we read and to evaluate the new information. Captions, graphics, and then we have a nice double page spread here. Okay, same thing, vocabulary words in red, paragraphs are labeled, and we have footnotes down at the bottom. And again, a page of reading comprehension, and again the skills are listed here. A reading skill activity where we're going to go back into the text and practice a specific skill. This one is scanning. Critical thinking questions, very important. And then a whole page of vocabulary at the bottom. And then after we've done reading A and B, we get onto the video. So again, with the video, we want to think about the topic before we watch. What do we know? What do we think we're going to find out? What do we want to know about the topic? So this is an activity to help us do that. Then during the video, you're going to complete these activities while you watch, and you can actually do this at home during your study time because everything is available for you on the internet online, so you can watch the videos online. And then there's critical thinking questions at the end of the unit. So these are going to be more challenging, asking you to take the ideas from both readings and the video and synthesize it all together. Very high level stuff. At the end, we have vocabulary review. This is for you. This is for you to take charge of your learning. So reading A, reading B, you had these words. Do you still know what they mean? Can you explain them to someone else? Can you use them in a sentence? Okay, this is for you to evaluate your own learning so that you know whether you need to actually go back and to study something or ask your teacher a question. So that is the way the book's laid out. The only other thing you need to know is at the back of the book is this fabulous page. So you might want to pull it out or copy it or take a picture. Tips for effective reading. So these are things that you need to be doing to become active and effective readers. So this is a fabulous cheat sheet. Okay, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and super excited to get started in the book.